Hello, welcome back to Al Talks. Oh, it is very, very warm today. It's been warm the last couple of days. I've been pleasant in work. Not much better at home either. So, well, on the plus side, bit of bad news. Well, it's bad news for me. I don't know if it'd be this little fella finally broke. I got this light bulb when I started Warhammer modeling. I don't think I've mentioned that before. I know that bulb I think is like 15 years old or something, and it finally broke the other night. Bit of a sad moment. Might have to frame that bulb now. But yeah, so the lamp, I have two lamps I usually have on. The reason that I'm okay today with lighting is because, like I said, it's 28 degrees outside. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit for my American viewers. 28 degrees, I don't know, maybe like 58 Fahrenheit. I don't know, the conversion is about that, I think. So, yeah, so let's get started. Quentin Tarantino came on to Joe Rogan's podcast and listened to the entirety of it, and there's been a lot of controversy around it because he painted Bruce Lee in a bad light in terms of the movie that Bruce Lee put forward to Warner Brothers before he passed away, and the controversy around, did he steal the idea from another writer or was it the other way around? So that episode, even Joe Diaz on his latest Church, which came out today, Joe Diaz loves Bruce Lee. Like, even in his recording room, there's a picture of Bruce Lee in the background. So he wasn't overly happy with Quentin Tarantino bad mouthing Bruce Lee. It obviously has caused a lot of controversies. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, but personally for me, like when I was a kid, growing up, there was this channel that just showed kung fu movies. So I got to see like all the Jackie Chan's, all the Bruce Lee movies, and then there was the obscure Asian kung fu movies. I loved all of those. Especially Bruce Lee. Because for me, my two favorite martial artists back in then was Asian ones, at least before I found out about Chuck Norris or Steven Seagal, were always Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. Jackie Chan, he performed all his stunts and everything else in his movies. Bruce Lee was fortunately taken too soon from the world, and so was his son Brandon. But yeah, there was, I don't know if because obviously you have to take a side, but I mean, Bruce Lee meant so much to the movie world and to the martial arts world. He truly was an icon. To the one, like I said, when I was growing up, two of the biggest stars in martial arts. Like I said, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan is still alive and kicking. I remember, and I think it was 1997 when the first Rush Hour came out with Chris Tucker. And I remember watching that. I love that movie, and I'm watching Rush Hour 3. I think Jackie Chan was at least 50 or something years old last year. She still kicked my ass. There's no point in lying about it. It's Jackie Chan at the end of the day. But yeah, so there's that. I just want to weigh my opinion on that whole controversy. I suppose I had to address it. But other than that, it's been a lot of Marc Maron for me recently. I watched all of Marc Maron's show that he had. There was 4 seasons of it, and the lad kind of halfway through season 3, and then the last season was really interesting. Like I initially watched Maron when it came out first. At that stage, season 4 hadn't come out yet because, like I said, I think it was on Netflix for a while up to season 3, and then they got rid of it. But his specials are still up there. I think there's 3 of them. One of the ones that I actually saw him working out on the road before the pandemic. Actually, the theater that he was in, Vicar Street, it went on fire, but they managed to put it out before any damage, any real damage happened. So that was good, because that venue is really a lot of comic acts go up there. Like Ali Walm was supposed to come there before the pandemic, so it's good to see that the fire brigade got there in time and saved the building. Obviously, there'd be some damage, from the fire, but still, it's salvageable. So watching Maron again, because he had Joey Diaz on for 2 episodes, and then Whitney Cummings appeared in 2 or 3 episodes. And it's funny to look back then, because when I was watching Maron back then, I wasn't listening to any podcasts. I knew Marc Maron had a podcast, but for me, like, really, I started listening to podcasts. It was actually Hoonigans. They were starting to do podcasts where they were talking about. Hello. Okay, the decibels just went up really high in the microphone to the red zone. Don't know why that is. It's a bit okay. Never mind. Just give me a second here. Yeah, okay. I don't know why that was. I think it's because I moved the chair. It made a really loud noise. Anyway. And so yeah, he had, like, I even remember Joey Diaz talking about it, that he was saying, like, he was so grateful for Maron to give the opportunity to him, to put him in the show and everything else. And but then, when was this now? Last, can't remember what day it was. What was it? Monday? Was it Monday? Yeah, Monday. Tom Segura had Marc Maron on in Two Bears One Cave, which is a show he usually does Bert Kreischer, but Bert Kreischer is in Serbia at the moment, filming the film. So he had Marc Maron on, and if you're interested in Marc Maron or Tom Segura, definitely watch that episode, because it's brilliant. Because Tom Segura was talking about how when he was getting big in comedy, his dad brought his friend over. He was like in his 80s, and he said, "Oh, I was telling him jokes. Like, what about your jokes? What are your jokes like? Do some of your jokes." And Tom did, and then he was like, "But they sound different." I was like, "Yeah, because you have jokes. I have jokes. You work up to a bit." And then he says to Marc Maron, Mark is like, even some of the people that like my jokes, he goes, even my audience that come to my shows, they're like, like, he goes, Mark was like, what my comedy is like. And it's true. Like I told you, the very first time I seen Mark, he sat up on the chair and did this with his glass. Went, "Oh God, what am I doing here?" Because that's just Maron. He's just utterly disappointed his entire life over everything. And it really portrays in the show. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's times in the show when it kind of is like, I can have good things, yeah, that kind of feeling. It's like, do I deserve this? Do I not? It's kind of feeling of disappointment. I don't know if any seen on Instagram. I put up a story a few days ago that doing some rebranding, getting some artwork done by a graphic designer, because it's way on my league. So hopefully next few days I might do like I was thinking about doing a live event to show the finished product when it's all good and ready to go. So we're gonna have to see about that. If you'd be interested in that, let me know. But other than that, I'm gonna have to call it there. It is very hot, and before I melt, really. So thanks for watching, and I don't know, next week might see some new art. I might do that live. We'll see. Still no news really on live performances. They haven't really, the government here hasn't figured anything out yet. They have, I'm actually haven't gotten vaccinated yet. I'm waiting on the people to get back to me, but Yeah. So anyway, I shall see you all next week, and thanks for watching.